Hey guys, it's ayebeepee and welcome back to my channel. I have my bachelor's in criminal justice and a minor in psychology, and I'm going to say that for the next 84 videos because I'm just so proud of myself. Also, I'm a board member with a nonprofit called Voices for the Silenced. We really help trying to get resources to family when their missing person first goes missing. We can help with searches, social media, and even just helping you bridge that gap between you and law enforcement. And once again, I am wearing an Operation Juicebox shirt. This one's fun. It reminds me of my emo days and like all the band t-shirts I had back then. It was a whole scene, right? And Operation Juicebox is my friend Olive Hughes' project, which helped keep children safe by catching child predators on the internet. And we are here with the 3rd season of Unsolved in West Virginia again. And today we are here to talk about the North Bend Rail Trail. Its history is really interesting and we can't get to every tunnel today, so I have gathered about 3 that I really liked their story to put in this video for you. So let's go ahead and just get right in. The North Bend Rail Trail is actually one of the most known trails through the Appalachian Mountains. It is 72 miles long and it used to have 23 tunnels throughout it, but it has been now condensed down to 10. It goes between I-77 near Parkersburg all the way to Wolf Summit. And this trail goes across 35 bridges. Now, before the Civil War, this rail trail was a railroad, and it was built by Northern Virginia Railroad. They did end up selling this portion to the Baltimore and Ohio Railroad at some point though. And during this time period, the railroads were truly the backbone of transportation in our communities. We had to have railroads. And even during the war, it helped ship troops into Parkersburg towards the battlefronts. Now, in the 1950s, we did see an increase in size in freight cars. This unfortunately didn't work well with this railroad due to how many tunnels it had. They actually used to call it bottlenecking because the freight car could barely fit into these tunnels now. So they did try to widen as many tunnels as they could and even took the top off of a few, in which they called daylighting the tunnels. And they just did as much as they could to keep up with the boom of the railroads. And in the 1980s, this part of the railroad was bought by CSX. And construction to make this just a trail started. They did make it multi-use. You can hike, you can bike on it, and you can do horseback riding. And it's known as a railback, which means a railroad can be put back in whenever is needed. So let's go through some of the tunnels that are apparently haunted on this trail. And we're going to start with Tunnel 13. On May 31st, 1956, the B&O Railroad had a train that was going down through this tunnel. It ended up derailing at the end and going straight into what we know as Bonds Creek, headfirst. And 2 were killed and 45 were injured in this crash. So this tunnel had tragedy around it, and it is thought that you can see the 2 that have passed on this train crash right outside the tunnel where it would have landed. Now let's go to Tunnel 19, the Silver Run Tunnel. This one's in a little town called Chara, West Virginia, and it used to boom in the marble making industry. This town is directly connected to the trail. It goes right through it, and it has a population of about 281 people. This tunnel is 1,376 feet, and it's thought to stay permanently damp and like foggy. And this one is known to be haunted by a lady in white. This woman was waiting at the Silver Run train station for her man to come get her. They were about to get married, but he ended up never showing up. So no one is really sure if she had fallen, maybe looking for her man, onto the train tracks when a train hit her, or if she was so heartbroken that her man would leave her right before the wedding that she threw herself over. And in 1910, there was a young conductor driving a train through this tunnel. And while he was coming up to Tunnel 19, he saw this woman just walking on the train tracks. She was in a pale dress and she had raven colored hair and she had on gold slippers. He tried so hard to stop this train in time to not hit her, even throwing on the emergency brake as fast as he could, but it was just too late. Now he jumped out of the train with his firearm and his coworker and went to look to see the damage that he did to this lady. And the two of them both saw her just fade away in the fog. Well, another conductor just laughed at both of them for how worked up they were about this. And he was like, if I ever see that lady, I'm just going to run right through her. And so when he did see her at this tunnel, that's exactly what he did. He ran right through her pretty smugly. But when he got to the train station, there had been so many telegrams sent in that explained that there was a woman riding on the front of his train, like on the cow catcher, his whole way from that tunnel to the train station. But so there were people looking for this woman when he got to the train station, but nobody was there. And conductors today often say they see this woman. So that is freaky. And lastly, let's talk about Tunnel 21, or what others know as Eaton's Tunnel. It's also known as the Lost Tunnel too. Thomas Nashville Johnson was a father of four that had died in the collapse of a tunnel in 1869. But on June 6, 1963, the tunnel collapsed from the construction being done on it, with no signs that anything was going wrong beforehand. There were 3 men that were working inside the tunnel that had ended up getting caught in there. And multiple people showed up to try to dig these 3 out. One got out, thankfully, with only a broken ankle, and another was rescued a few hours later. But they did end up dying due to their injuries at a later date. But Harry Buck Nichols could not be dug out of this tunnel. They got to a point that the more they dug, the more it collapsed. And they decided to make the painful decision to just seal the tunnel and leave his remains in there. But no marker was ever put on this tunnel at all for Buck. And they built another tunnel close by that people can use. So to get to this part, you have to go off like a muddy path up the road. And this tunnel is supposed to be exceptionally scary during the dark. You can hear voices and just wails and train whistles that aren't coming. The North Bend Trail just seems so interesting, and it has so much history. There was just so much that I couldn't get to everything about the North Bend Trail without it being like an hour-long video. But I thought this would fit well in the Unsolved series with a few paranormal tunnels. Have you ever been to the North Bend Trail and these tunnels specifically? Did you notice anything weird? Leave that in the comments. And thank you guys so much for watching. Like and subscribe for me, and hit that notification button. That way you're notified the next time I upload. There is a GoFundMe for Crystal Young. If you haven't seen her video, go watch it so you know why her mom needs this PI so bad. And of course, I have new stickers for sale, so I'll put a few pictures on the screen of them. They're $2 each and all proceeds go to the Cold Case Foundation, so it is for a good cause. And thank you guys so much for watching. Go check out Operation Juicebox in the description below, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!